Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. In our top stories, the senior division officer for the Mezam division, northwest region of the country, Simon Emimo, has banned the circulation of motorbikes in Bali Nyonga. This follows the killing of 5 policemen recently by armed men suspected to be separatist fighters. His decision is believed will enhance security in Bali Nyonga, and according to him, the ban is renewable if the security situation in Bali Nyonga does not return to normal. It is coming at a time when motorbike riders in Bali Nyonga rely on the motorbike riding sector or in this activity to put food on the table, pay their children's school fees, as well as carry out other financial transactions. We equally talk about a woman who has been apprehended by gendarmerie elements in the Mungo division of the Littoral region. She is suspected to have abducted a child, and the child has been reunited with the parents. Also in the Mungo division of the Littoral region, still some bike riders are now opportune to have their motorbikes that were stolen by some suspected individuals. There were 3 in numbers presented to the public by gendarmerie elements of the Mungo North Company. Those were top stories. Good evening. Once again, you're welcome to join us on the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. We begin with the administrative decision taken by the senior divisional officer for Mezam Division Northwest Region of Cameroon, Simon Emimo, banning the circulation of motorbikes in Bali Nyonga following the killing of 6 policemen recently by armed individuals suspected to be separatist fighters. According to him, the decision will be renewable if the security situation in Bali Nyonga remains disturbing. The ban will last for 3 months, and according to the population, this will adversely affect citizens who rely on this activity to put food on the table, as well as pay their children's school fees and carry out other financial transactions. Details in this report with Samanjikan Gabriel.
The crisis in the 2 English-speaking regions, which has taken away many lives, is still to have its solution. After close to 5 years of fighting, if commercial bikes could easily circulate without problem in Bafut, Bamenda 1, 2 and 3, Santa and Tuba, which are all subdivisions under Mezam Division of the Northwest region, Bali, one of the subdivisions, won't be able to cease the circulation of motorbikes for a period of 3 months. The decision was taken by the senior divisional officer of Mezam, Simon Emimo, Tuesday. The decision of the senior divisional officer comes several hours after 5 police officers were ambushed and killed in Bali Nyonga by suspected separatist fighters with their equipment taken away. The senior divisional officer's media release says anyone who goes against this decision shall be punished with the provisions of the regulations in force. The SDO, Simon Emimo, adds that the present decision will be renewed if things don't change in Bali subdivision of the Northwest region. Since the start of the conflicts in the Southwest and Northwest regions, several of such media releases have been signed by administrative authorities, but still things haven't changed as more lives are being lost each passing day.
It's not the first time that such an administrative decision is taken by authorities in the Recife Northwest region of the country, notably in the Mezam division, prohibiting the circulation of motorbikes regarding the security situation faced in that part of the country. Now we come to the Littoral region where security elements have apprehended some individuals who are engaged in the transaction or sales of illicit fuel. They were apprehended in different operations launched following an information fired by informants. And in this report, Mala Glory notes that a public transport vehicle, the seat was used as a fuel tank, and that it could result to a disaster if in case an accident occurred. Her report.
These 940 liters of fuel are seized in the neighborhood of Bonadis Douala by security officers from suspected fuel traffickers. A track-down operation was ordered after an informant reported to the regional delegate of national security of the Littoral region.
Le délégué régional de la Sécurité nationale du littoral.
The regional delegate of national security of the Littoral was informed, and immediate action was taken. A team was deployed on the field.
Éradiquer ce phénomène qui prend de l'ampleur dans notre cité. C'est ainsi que, réunissant mon équipe, nous sommes déployés sur le terrain.
We continued this operation from Bonadis to Bono. 27 drums of fuel is discovered in a warehouse stored here by another suspected traffickers.
Ce carburant saisi a été mis à la disposition de la délégation régionale des mines pour expertise.
This fuel was seized and sent to the delegate of mines. This operation continues as the security forces uncover another stock of illicit fuel. Shockingly, seats of this transport vehicle are transformed to fuel tanks of about 200 liters. Thanks to same informant, this vehicle carrying human lives and inflammable liquid is intercepted. A veritable danger if the vehicle go in flames as a result of an incident.
So it so happened that the owner of this vehicle has transformed the seats of the vehicle into petrol, to stock petrol, to transport petrol, so that at our checkpoint it will be very difficult to determine if the vehicle is transporting petrol. So it was thanks to information given to us by willful Cameroonians that we were able to track this vehicle. So in the course of the struggle, we were unfortunate that we did not arrest the owner of the vehicle, because he profited from the nature of the route to abandon his vehicle and took refuge into the bush.
While the suspected traffickers of the 9 containers and those at the warehouse are arrested, investigations are on course to track them down.
Kongsamba, in the Mungo division of the Littoral region, a woman has been arrested by the gendarmerie elements of the Mungo North Company and presented to the public. She is suspected to have stolen a baby during a wake-up, and the child has so far been reunited with his parents. Still in Kongsamba Mungo division of the Littoral region, 3 individuals suspected to have stolen motorbikes and other items were arrested as well by same gendarmerie elements and presented to the public. The gendarmerie elements are calling on the population to work in collaboration to flush out criminality in the locality. Details in this report with Immaculate Fogwe.
6-month-old Father Maxime, now in the arms of his biological parents after spending 2 days in captivity. The teenager was taken away by an unknown lady during a funeral ceremony in Manengole in the Mungo division, Littoral region of Cameroon. I live in Kongsamba, but I went to Manengole for my aunt's burial. At about 11 p.m., I laid my child on the bed in one of the rooms where one of my brother's children was equally sleeping. I later joined other family members. When I came back, my child was nowhere to be found. I was informed by the little boy who was on the bed with the child that the woman who carried my baby said she was my sister. After several hours of unfruitful search, the mother of the baby immediately filed a complaint at the National Gendarmerie Company for Mungo North.
Saisi par une plainte venant d'une dame qui est partie à une veillée à Maningolais.
After we were alerted about a missing baby, we began carrying out investigations. With the aid of the population, we were able to have information on the whereabouts of the baby. We immediately took the baby to the hospital for checkup, and he was later handed over to the mother.
Et il a été restitué à sa mère biologique.
According to the alleged kidnapper, the baby was to be sold for the sum of 500,000 francs CFA. Another gang of suspected bandits are equally in the dragnet of the National Gendarmerie Company for Mungo North. According to security elements, the gang of 3 within the age range of 24 to 64 are specialized in the theft of motorcycles and other equipment in the town of Bafang in the West region.
Ce sont des gens qui ont braqué du côté de Bafang.
These boys made away with 3 motorcycles and other equipment in Bafang. They brought the items to Kongsamba. With the collaboration of the population, we were able to track down the suspects. The company commander for the Mungo North, Fritz Mebwins, and his boys expressed gratitude to the population who endeavor to help them accomplish their mission.
Panic struck the population of Great Sopo OIC in Boya, chief town of the southwest region of the country, Tuesday evening after the transformer caught flames and exploded, plunging the entire locality into total darkness. The sparking flames lasted for close to 1 hour before it was handled and brought under control by the concerned officials. During the sparking and moments of explosion of the transformer, many could be heard shouting in fear. The situation could get disastrous. Fortunately, no life was lost, no one injured, and no house in flames, though it is feared electronic gadgets of some residents must have been blown. And we take you to the west region of the country to talk about this scuffle that took place between a member of parliament and a police officer. A video circulating on social media shows a police in Bavusam assaulting Honorable Noran Fotsing and harassing her as she purportedly tried to drive through a barricaded road on Tuesday. The video shows a near scuffle between a group of police officers and the lawmaker of the opposition PCRN party led by Honorable Kabrali B. The police can be seen warning the lawmaker in her car as though she was a child, forcing her to climb down her car before pouring insults and threats on her. One of the officers, a third-grade inspector of police with a pistol trapped around his waist, seems to take the matter into his hands, pointing and scolding at Honorable Noran Fotsing. The 46-second viral video suggests that Honorable Noran was physically assaulted by the forces of law and order. Many amongst those sharing the video of the scuffle on social media are calling it a brutal assault and a violation of parliamentary immunity. Noran was reportedly on her way to Fumban through Bavusam in Cameroon's West region Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. And Tuesday assault equally sparked off a reaction from Honorable Ngala Gerard, who is MP for the CPDM. On his Facebook page, he condemns the assault on the Honorable by the police officer. He says, "We must condemn these excesses of some officials who at the same time give a dirty image to our police force. The violence meted on Honorable Noran Singh by a police officer in Bafoussam yesterday is inconceivable and unacceptable. That's according to Honorable Formi Ngala Gerard, Member of Parliament for Donga Mantung Center, taken to Facebook a few hours after the incident. The development-focused lawmaker said such treatment should never be meted on a woman, talk less of a Member of Parliament. He also knows that as a Member of Parliament, he strongly condemns such unacceptable excesses and asks that an investigation be opened to this effect to get the facts, threats, and possible sanctions. That's according to the lawmaker. He hopes that let all be a good example or good examples in building and not destroying the nation. We talk about some passengers, notably at the Garoutier in Bonaberry, Douala 4 subdivision, who are now scared entering the said motor park to get buses in order to travel out of Douala. This is due to the deplorable state of the motor park that has forced some of the transport agencies to now be loading along the main roads. We get details in this report with Charles Ekome.
Potholes and mud have rendered the Bonaberry Motor Park in the Douala 4 subdivision almost inaccessible. According to road users and passengers, these deplorable conditions have equally contributed to the reduction of passengers at the motor park because some prefer boarding clandestine transport vehicles at the roadside.
I'm going to Boya. From here to Boya, like this one is saying that it's 1.5 because there are no vehicles. By the roadside, it's faster than in the park.
I prefer taking the car by the roadside because it saves my time. If I go through the park to use the right system, I will not leave Douala on time. But I know that if I come here within 20 minutes, I will leave Douala. So I don't like to go and stay in the park. I've been trying it, but I always delay there.
Bus drivers from the inter-urban transport agencies also voice out their discontent vis-a-vis the problems and difficulties they face on a daily basis. The main difficulty we have here at the motor park is the lack of good roads. The main road getting into the park is completely bad. That's why we are pleading with administrative authorities to repair the road and also ensure that the environment is always kept clean. However, their prayers might be answered soon thanks to a meeting between various stakeholders who have as plan to renovate the motor park before the African Cup of Nations, says Jules Dijon, Director of China Africa Investments in Cameroon.
From the discussion we had, it was to set up a bus station that will have a supermarket inside, several restaurants, shops, and also, and most importantly, a hotel. The hotel will allow people who are traveling to have a place where they can sleep safely and comfortably. So after that meeting, our idea was to start the project at the end of September, early October, and to deliver the project before the African Cup of Nations, because we believe this bus station is one of the most important infrastructure in the city of Douala.
He further expatiates on the partners and technologies involved in the renovation process of the Bonaberry Motor Park.
We are working with Chinese companies. We have a new technology that allows us to build the bus station before delivering the product. This is also one of the most cost-efficient methods. It means we don't have to use that much cement and make sure that we can produce and build the bus station before we come to Cameroon and just set it up from the ground up. This allows us to reduce the construction time and make sure that we have a better quality of infrastructure for the long run.
All these measures put in place, according to experts, the renovation of the motor park will accelerate development in the area, given that the African Cup of Nations will soon be hosted in the country.
We talk now about Senator Barrister Henry Kemende, who has challenged the Minister of Justice to provide seats and tables to courts in Bamenda in the northwest region. This follows a recent rejection of already made chairs and tables he had to donate to the cause. According to the legal mind, the rejection is an insult to the people of Cameroon in the northwest region who seek courtroom services and a slap to decentralization. Boost Stella files in details.
At a time when officials are preaching effective decentralization in Cameroon, centralization is effectively practiced on the field. This is the case with these gifts, composed of chairs and tables and destined for the court in Bamenda, but are still in the keeping of the donor, Senator Barrister Henry Kemendi.
After having produced all those the chairs and tables, 100 of them, distributed in all the 5 courts of the regional headquarters, namely the Court of Appeal, High Court, Court of First Instance, Military Tribunal, and the Administrative Court. So after having produced these chairs enough and tables enough to give to those courts, I met the judicial hierarchy, the Procurator General, and the President of the Court of Appeal, to know how we go about it, how we go about the handing over. They told me, the Chief Justice of the region told me to put the offer in writing. I should put the offer in writing so that I can at least address his mind to it and then maybe even refer to the hierarchy. And that's what I did. And she said she will forward it to the hierarchy and get their reaction, and then we can now program the date for the handing over. Surprisingly, I've waited 2 months, 3 months, and this is now the 4th month running.
The gifts were rejected with the phrase, "Ce n'est pas nécessaire," meaning the activity is not necessary. These words were written on the letter the donor sent to the Ministry of Justice announcing his intention to hand the gifts to the various courts.
To imagine that it has been rejected at the level of Yaoundé by the minister in charge of justice goes to show the limitations of our decentralization policy. We have said we are moving towards effective decentralization. We've discovered a local need or local needs that have been identified by a local elected official has not been accepted just by a simple statement of it is not necessary.
According to the senator, the donation is timely as his colleagues and those seeking courtroom services lack seats and tables to write on. The reason for the rejection can only be speculated for now, as no official communication has been made. The donor therefore plans to channel the money that will be realized after the liquidation of these furnitures into a water project at Upstation Bamenda. He is therefore challenging the Minister of Justice to apologize to Cameroonians by providing furnitures in these courtrooms. At official
That report, we move to talking points, just in a jiffy. Good evening once again. You're welcome to Talking Point. Today we having as guest Gimdo Gilbert. He is a civil society actor and historian. Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Azai. Good evening to meet you again and to talk about what preoccupies the nation again. Thank you.
Yeah, another week starting with a lot of happenings in Cameroon. One thing that caught my attention that should equally catch your attention is the scuffle between a police officer, a third-grade police inspector, and a member of parliament, a lawmaker. Did you watch the video circulating on social media?
Of course I did, and normally every watchful Cameroonian should watch the video and ask questions. On social media, I watch statements like insanity in a nation where lawmakers are brutalized and tormented by the police officers. And I began to ask myself, looking at the scene that took place and what the circumstances surrounding the scuffle between the lawmaker in question and the police officers, questions are supposed to hover around the air, because in a country where people are psychologically conscious, and lawmakers know that they are lawmakers. This statement is very important. Lawmakers know that they are lawmakers. You cannot go make a law and then in the fee smash the law yourself. Because that particular lawmaker smashed the law, she is supposed to be coming from parliament to make that same law. It is uncalled for. There is what we call highway code. Those codes, those laws are made by those very people there in the parliament. You cannot go sit there, make a law, and on the road you don't respect that law. The police officers are there to make sure that those laws are respected by each and every Cameroonian. When I say each and every Cameroonian, it means any person who is riding across the road respects the law. And it is out of question that somebody comes thinking she is a parliamentarian, thinking you're a senator or whatsoever, and you want to bifurcate, you want to smash the law on the road because you are a parliamentarian or whatsoever. It is not called for. It is not called for. Unfortunately, we are living in a nation where people take things into their hands, and people think that because I am this, I am that, I can do this, I can do that, and go scot-free. Well then, another question I ask myself is, and I would like to ask all Cameroonians, and especially the police force, is that, you know, in Cameroon now, in that same parliament where we have 180 parliamentarians coming from various political parties, the tendency now is that parliamentarians who have some degree of immunity from the law are being weighed differently from different parties. You see, the question I want to ask is, if that particular woman was of the CPDM, let me be very frank, of the CPDM, will the police force have brutalized her to the level where she did to that woman from an opposition party? It's a question I'm asking Cameroonians, and I'm asking the police force particularly, because we live in a circumstance, we live in a society where some people appear preferable and some people appear relegated, some people appear denigrated, and some are like they are more Cameroonians than others. This is a simple question I'm asking, and I think this question takes me out of that particular issue of that scuffle. Just permit me.
Okay, so you are actually saying that the police officer was doing his job correctly to protect the laws.
The police officer was correct. The police officers were supposed to stop the woman and bring her back to rule as it is supposed to be. And not only that woman. If the law was violated by that woman, they have immunity. That's correct. That immunity has particular areas where it is applied. Not that somebody comes because she's a parliamentarian, a senator, or whosoever. Well, it is just like you can. Let me ask you this question. Because you're a parliamentarian, you kill somebody with a gun and you go scot-free, it is not called for. There are certain things that are considered ultra-virus when the law is concerned. And when certain things are considered ultra-virus, it doesn't mean these police officers were simply calling her to order. She was vibrating because she was considering who she was, where she's coming from, and the thought that the police officers were supposed to bow to her actions, and we have to learn to say no to such things from people who think they are protected by law and whatsoever. I don't think if you move out of Cameroon to any society that is civilized and they put laws and know that these are our laws, we have to toe the line, I don't think that any person will, especially who makes the laws. There's something in the judiciary what we say swear in. Those who swear into the law are particularly punished by that law when they cross it. When you are, I cannot be, for example, a lawmaker and a simple gimdo, like you called me. If I make that mistake on the road, if I bifurcate road signs and I mistake on the the highway code. A lawmaker who made that same law bifurcates or creates that same problem. I mean, I think attention should be paid to punishment given to that very lawmaker than even myself. So I think that the police officers were doing the job they are supposed to do. My only worry behind is the context from where the action came from and the reactions. Like I asked my question, I suppose that if that parliamentarian were of the CPDM, that same reproach or that same reaction would have been applied. That was where my problem was.
In just some few words before we move out of this subject matter, you got a CPDM member of parliament, Honorable Ngala Gerard, who actually supported Honorable Noran Fotsi and said that the action that was carried out by the police officer is inconceivable and unacceptable.
Well,
how do you digest that?
Well, Honorable Ngala is of the CPDM, and I asked the question knowing what I was asking.
But she defends an opposition MP.
Ngala Gerard is of the Donga Mountain, and they are of the same pot of soup. You do not expect that Honorable Ngala will say a different thing. Ngala will not come to the media and will not support a parliamentarian. First, there is a difference between what is said in public and what is held in mind. In between the political parties, don't be surprised that what he said in public is the contrary of what he holds in mind, and it is the contrary of what his party will have in mind, and it is the contrary of what his party will want that particular police officer to be handled. It is different. That is the nature of our society.
Okay.
Whether we take it or we leave it, that's the truth. Ngala will not say anything. Honorable Ngala will not say a different thing apart from supporting his colleague in the hemicycle than do the reality background there. That's not the reality. We have to face it.
Okay, just to gain some time, let's dive into another subject matter. You certainly heard or read the communique, the banning communique of the Senior Divisional Officer of Mezam Division of the Northwest Region, restricting for 3 months circulation of motorbikes in Bali Nyonga because of the killing of 5 police officers that was recently by armed men suspected to be separatist fighters. At the time when the population are battling for survival, some of them rely on this activity to put food on the table, to pay their children's school fees and other financial transactions.
It's important.
Is that tolerable at this moment?
If Equinoxe Television decides to make that issue topical, to make it a topical issue, then well, let's talk about it. But I think that is not a topical issue again as far as crises in the Northwest and the Southwest are concerned, because we cannot count again the number of restrictions that have been signed by administrative.
It's not the first time.
We cannot count again. The number of restrictions signed by administrative officers. Well, that's it. Then come back to the real issue in Balinyonga itself. Look at the authenticity of the restriction. When you look at who signed the restriction, looking at the context of our country, it is competent. The senior officer had the right to sign such a restriction. It is within his competence to sign such a restriction. But then, when you look at other circumstances surrounding it, the first circumstance is the context of the Northwest and the Southwest, beginning from the fact that Balinyonga particularly is an area where much has been done. When it comes to Anglophone crisis, much has been done. The number of human beings that have been buried in Balinyonga, killed by both camps, is a call for concern. And that's the first. The second thing is that the number of human beings buried on both camps. We are talking of the Northwest, the Southwest, indigenous, the forces, our forces of law and order, and the others in that area have become a call for concern. So the first question we should start asking is, this one not being the first, is it going to be respected because others were not respected? Is this one going to be respected? I think sometimes last year in this September last year, there was a general communique, I think was signed by the governor of the Northwest, banning the circulation of motorbikes in the whole of Mezam. It didn't work. It did not work. It did not work. And the truth is, it cannot work. Let's be sincere. It cannot work. Why can it not work? It cannot work because the government has not been able to meet the people, listen to your complaints. When you meet any politician in this country, sometimes even from any political party, I don't care if of the government or not, they will tell you that the government has done this, the government has done this. But rest assured, in an asymmetrical war like the one this country is facing between the government forces and the Northwest and the Southwest, or the Anglophone section of Cameroon, that's an asymmetrical war. Once government shows little interest in identifying what caused an unidentified force against the government, that unidentified force is what we call, that is what makes it an asymmetrical war. When the government relegates its interest to get to the field, get the worries of what is causing that unidentified war, it will continue like that. Okay. And faces will change. And you will continue. Nothing is surprising again. Signing a communique, like I told you from the beginning, is not supposed to be a topical issue now. It's not supposed to be anything interesting. It's not supposed to be anything surprising, because such have been a lot. Statements have gone viral, and none of those have been respected. Well, the communique itself has come. It is authentic. Let us wait and see how the authenticity of that document will call for its respect by those who are supposed to show respect to the document itself. Well, we're waiting to see, because Baliyunga, when you see, they ambush our police officers and they went free. And as they went free, it is a motive, it is a boosting factor to them. They are preparing, motorbike or not. They are devising, as the government is devising means, they are devising their own. So the problem is, we are calling on the powers that be to realize that lives have been wasted to the level where it is not only an Anglophone crime. At this level, it is everybody cries out loud. Well, when we sit in the media and talk, somebody will listen somewhere and think that that's an Englishman talking, that's an Anglophone talking, or an Anglophone Cameroon talking, without knowing that if you bring up a Francophone Cameroonian and sit him here, he may sound louder than we are sounding. Okay. Just bring up one who has lost a brother, lost a sister, or lost somebody very close to him, and I will see if that person will go supporting somebody against where he lost his brother or he lost somebody. That's the reality. It is because probably those that are brought to the media are those that may have little or nothing to do with the crisis. Go down there, look for those who are crying because their families have been butchered down there in the north and the southwest. Bring one of them down up here and listen to what they will tell the government.
Okay, rapidly, I just want us to talk a few issues regarding the break-up state of Cameroon today. Can we say it is as a result of the nature of the Fumban conference that held in 1961 I think we are within the period it actually held 17th to the 21st.
That question appears timely and coincidentally. I don't know if you know when you are asking me that question. Today is July 21st, and not only July 21st, 2021, marking 100 days. Today is 100 days when the various components of the federal constitution were read in Fumban on that day. I think today is Wednesday. That day was Friday. 1961 was Friday, and today is Wednesday. What a coincidence! A coincidental question. You see, whether satisfactory or not to Southern Cameroonians or not, the components of the federal constitution read on Friday, July 21st, 1961, would have kept Cameroon peaceful up to today if in the preceding years after 1961 were not tampered with. Okay. The law balances it, but we who write the past, we have a moral obligation of reporting just what happened. Okay. In 1972, Article 47 was overridden by Article 2. Article 47 that stated clearly that any other law or any other thing that may tamper the present dispensation is unacceptable. The present dispensation being the federal structure. But Article 2 now contradicted it by saying that power is given to the people. That means the sovereignty is given to the people. Now, it is up to us now to judge. The government is basing on Article 2, which Aijo used in 1972 to sweep away the federal structure. But the Anglophones are basing on Article 47, which stated in clear terms that any other law or anything, the word anything is literally in context meaning that is surface and implied. And then the word, the expression, listen, the expression power or the sovereignty is given to the people. All of them have surface and implied meanings. Therefore, it is up to Cameroonians to sit down and realize that Article 47 had a place and Article 2 had a place. But I think that when we say that,
because we're already out of time.
Yeah.
But we're sorry about that. But I actually assure that perhaps before this week runs out, to certainly elaborate on this, because it is very important to talk about. We just sorry because we are already out of time. Well, because we discuss about other issues affecting Cameroon. I'm sorry for cutting you.
Yeah, we're welcome, but it's important. It's important to always know that when the law says that Constitution says anything, people should know that anything, whether sovereignty or not, anything that disturbs the present dispensation should be taken important. Therefore, the government should not capitalize on that Article 2 to bifurcate Article 47.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Ngimdo Gilbert.
Thank you very much. Happy being here again as usual. Thank you.
It's an interesting subject matter, topic. We'll elaborate on that during the week before the week runs out. That was Ngimdo Gilbert. He is a civil society actor and a historian. He will be coming back within the week to elaborate on the issue concerning the Fumban Conference of 1961. And that's ending this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks so much for watching. Do have a splendid evening. Tomorrow, another day, God willing.